Here's a number that most Canadians have never actually calculated. In January 2026, the average CPP retirement payment for new beneficiaries was $925.35 per month. The maximum OAS payment for Canadians aged 65 to 74 is $742.31 per month. Combined, if you qualify for both at the maximum, that's $1,667.66 per month in government retirement income. That's $20,011 a year. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto in 2026 is approximately $2,200 a month. In Vancouver, it's over $2,400. The average two-bedroom in Canada runs approximately $2,078 per month, according to rentals.ca. Government retirement income doesn't cover a one-bedroom apartment in Canada's two largest cities. Not even close. And yet, according to the Health Care of Ontario Pension Plan's 2025 annual survey of over 2,000 Canadians, 59% of working Canadians believe they will never be able to retire. That is not pessimism. That is math. And most of them feel it every month without being able to articulate exactly why. BMO's 2025 annual retirement survey found that Canadians believe they need an average of $1.54 million to retire comfortably. The Fidelity Canada 2025 retirement report puts it at over $1 million for those over 45 alone. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why 90% of people will never reach that number, using the real data, and then show you the three-part system that the 10% who actually retire comfortably use instead. The retirement crisis is real and getting worse every year. Let's put the complete picture on the table. Because individual statistics are alarming enough, but together they paint a portrait of a systemic crisis that is getting measurably worse every single year. According to the National Institute on Aging's 2025 Aging in Canada survey, the most authoritative retirement research published in Canada, the share of Canadians aged 50+ who believe they can afford to retire at their desired time fell from 35% in 2022 to 29% in 2025. The share who say they cannot afford to retire on schedule rose from 37% to 43% over the same period. Among working Canadians 50+, 22% report retirement savings of $5,000 or less, excluding property and workplace pensions. From the HOOP 2025 Canadian Retirement Survey, 50% of unretired Canadians had not set aside any money for retirement in the past year. 39% say they have never saved for retirement at all. 77% of Canadians are worried that inflation is permanently eroding their quality of life. From BMO's 2025 Annual Retirement Survey, released February 12, 2025, 76% of Canadians are worried they will not have enough money in retirement because of rising prices. 63% say rising prices over the past 12 months have limited their ability to save for retirement. Average RRSP contributions are on track to reach $7,447 in 2025, a 14% increase over the prior year, yet still far below what's needed. From Manulife's Financial Resilience and Longevity Report, 2025. 48% of Canadians are behind schedule on retirement savings, and from Statistics Canada, the retirement age itself is shifting. The average retirement age has increased from 60.9 years in 1998 to 65.3 years in 2023, and continues to rise. The labor force participation rate for Canadians aged 65 and older reached a record high of 15% in 2023. more than double the rate from the mid-1990s. The retirement age is rising, the savings rate is falling, and the cost of retirement keeps climbing. As of early 2025, only 5% of Canadians have a net worth above $1 million, the approximate threshold for a comfortable retirement, according to the 2025 UBS Global Wealth Report. Only 5%. The three-legged stool, and why two legs are broken. Financial planners have long described retirement income in Canada as a three-legged stool, three sources working together to support you in retirement. In 2026, two of those legs are either missing or badly weakened for most Canadians, and one of them has been quietly disappearing for 50 years. Leg 1. Government benefits, CPP plus OAS. As we opened with, the average CPP payment is $925.35 per month, and the maximum OAS is $742.31 per month for those aged 65 to 74. Combined maximum, $1,667.66 per month. Here's what makes this number even more sobering. CPP was originally designed to replace approximately 25% of your average pre-retirement earnings. Even with the CPP enhancement that began in 2019, which has been gradually increasing the replacement ratio toward 33%, it was never designed to be your entire retirement income. It was designed to be a supplement. According to ATB Financial's 2026 retirement analysis, an individual at age 65 receiving average CPP and maximum OAS would receive about $18,553 per year. Most financial advisors suggest you need 60% to 80% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your lifestyle in retirement. On a $70,000 pre-retirement income, that's $42,000 to $56,000 per year needed. Government benefits cover $18,553. That leaves a gap of $23,000 to $37,500 per year, every year, that has to come from somewhere else. Leg 2. Employer pension. Defined benefit pension plans, the kind that guarantee a specific monthly payment for life, were once the bedrock of middle-class retirement in Canada. In 1977, over 48% of private sector workers had a defined benefit pension. By 2023, that number had fallen to under 12%, according to Statistics Canada data reviewed by Blueprint Financial. For most Canadians working in the private sector, this leg of the stool doesn't exist anymore. Leg 3. Personal savings. This is the only leg that most Canadians fully control, and the data shows it is being consistently neglected. According to Statistics Canada, the household savings rate in Q4 2025 was 4.4%, near historic lows. Meanwhile, from the 2025 Edward Jones RRSP survey, 84% of Canadians aged 18 to 34 report negative emotions about RRSPs, and only 36% feel confident about how the account works at maturity. The only leg you control, and most Canadians are barely using it. Here's the part of the retirement crisis most financial content skips entirely. And it's the part that explains why the data keeps getting worse year after year. It's not laziness, it's not ignorance, it's something more systematic than either of those. From Upsurge Financial's 2026 retirement analysis, citing the 2025 HOOPP survey, 60% of Canadians report having zero disposable income at the end of the month. When survival costs 100% of your paycheck, planning for the future feels like a luxury. 77% of Canadians are worried that inflation is permanently eroding their quality of life. According to the HOOP 2025 survey, that's not irrational. Shelter inflation and grocery inflation in 2025 and 2026 outpaced general CPI. The cost of simply existing in Canada is rising faster than most salaries. According to Upsurge Financial's 2026 analysis, 65% of unretired homeowners with a mortgage fear they will still be making mortgage payments into their 70s. That's a generation of Canadians who are choosing, or being forced, to pay down a 5% to 6% mortgage instead of contributing to an RRSP or TFSA. That's not a bad decision on its own, but it means retirement savings get permanently deferred. And the compounding years are the ones you lose and can never recover. Behavioral economists have documented a well-established cognitive pattern called present bias, the tendency to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future ones. Retirement feels abstract at 28. The car payment is real right now. This isn't a character flaw, it's how human brains are wired. And the financial system, from credit card companies to dealerships to streaming subscriptions, is specifically designed to exploit it. The Deloitte finding. Deloitte Canada's Running Out of Time report found that 55% of near-retiree households must make lifestyle compromises to avoid outliving their savings. These aren't people who didn't care about retirement. They just ran out of time, and they didn't build the system early enough to let it do the work. The 10% who retire comfortably didn't feel differently about saving in their 20s. They simply built an automated system that removed the decision from the equation entirely. Let's stop talking about the problem and start doing the math, because this is where most people either wake up or stay asleep. BMO's 2025 survey found Canadians believe they need $1.54 million. Fidelity's 2025 report says over $1 million for those over 45. Most financial advisors recommend 60% to 80% of pre-retirement income annually for the rest of your life. Let's use a $70,000 pre-retirement income and a 25-year retirement, age 65 to 90. At 70% replacement, $49,000 per year. Over 25 years, you need, without any investment returns on your savings, $1,225,000. With government income of $18,553 per year, covered by CPP plus OAS, the gap is $30,447 per year. $30,447 per year for 25 years equals $761,175 in personal savings needed at retirement. At minimum, assuming no inflation adjustment. With inflation, which Deloitte's analysis shows erodes retirement savings significantly, the real number is closer to $1 million to $1.5 million in personal savings required. What does it actually take to get there? Here's the math most people have never sat down and run. All projections at 8% average annual return. Inside TFSA, 100% tax-free. S&P 500 historical long-run average, approximately 10%. 8% used as a conservative estimate. Look at what waiting costs. Starting at 25 requires $700 per month to build $2.27 million by 65. Starting at 40 requires $2,200 per month, more than 3 times as much, to reach the same destination. Starting at 50 requires $5,600 per month, 8 times as much. Every decade you wait doesn't just cost you 1 decade of returns. It costs you all the compounding that would have grown on top of those returns for the decades that follow. The CPP enhancement, small but growing. The CPP enhancement that began in 2019 is gradually lifting the income replacement ratio from 25% to 33% of pre-retirement earnings for those who contribute at enhanced rates post-2019. The 2026 second earnings tier extends CPP contributions up to $85,000 in earnings, slightly higher than the base year's maximum pensionable earnings. That's meaningful. But even at full enhancement, CPP replaces 33% of earnings up to that threshold. It does not close the gap. It narrows it slightly. The math still requires personal savings, and the earlier they start compounding, the less you have to contribute. Your action step. Open a compound interest calculator right now. Enter $700 a month, 8% annual return, 40 years. See $2.27 million. That number, achieved on a median Canadian income, is the retirement the math makes possible when you start at 25. Here's where the 10% who actually retire comfortably diverge from the 90% who don't. It's not that they earn dramatically more, it's that they use a set of tools that are available to every Canadian, and they use them consistently, in the right order, starting as early as possible. The TFSA, the most powerful retirement tool most Canadians underuse. The TFSA annual contribution limit for 2026 is $7,000, confirmed by the CRA on December 1, 2025. For someone who has been eligible since the TFSA was created in 2009, cumulative contribution room in 2026 is $102,000. Any growth inside your TFSA, capital gains, dividends, interest, is completely tax-free forever. When your $700 a month grows to $2.27 million inside a TFSA over 40 years, the CRA receives nothing. Every dollar of that $2.27 million is yours. In a non-registered account, you would owe capital gains tax on a significant portion of that growth. Inside a TFSA, zero. The difference in final wealth on a 40-year compounding portfolio is enormous. The RRSP, reduce your tax bill while building retirement wealth. For 2026, the RRSP contribution limit is $32,490, representing 18% of prior year earned income up to that cap. The 2026 RRSP deadline for the 2025 tax year was March 2, 2026. Note, the RRSP dollar cap is rising to $33,810 for contributions made against 2026 income, according to Questrad's 2026 guide. Every dollar you contribute to your RRSP reduces your taxable income by that same dollar. For a Canadian earning $80,000 in Ontario, in approximately a 30% combined marginal bracket, a $10,000 RRSP contribution generates approximately $3,000 back as a tax refund. That refund, reinvested immediately into your TFSA, is compounding on money the government essentially handed you for saving. Over 30 years, a single $3,000 RRSP refund, reinvested at 8%, becomes $30,187 inside your TFSA, tax-free, from 1 year's refund. The FHSA, the account that does both. For first-time homebuyers, the First Home Savings Account allows contributions of up to $8,000 per year to a lifetime maximum of $40,000. Contributions are tax-deductible, like an RRSP. Withdrawals for a qualifying home purchase are tax-free, like a TFSA. The FHSA is the most tax-efficient account ever created for eligible Canadians, and the vast majority of Canadians who qualify aren't using it. The priority order. For most Canadians in their 20s and 30s, building toward retirement. 1. FHSA first, if eligible, first-time buyer. $8,000 per year, double tax advantage. 2. TFSA second, $7,000 per year, 2026. All growth tax-free forever. 3. RRSP third, especially powerful above $55,000 income, generates an immediate refund. 4. S&P 500 ETF inside all three. Low cost 0.09% to 0.20%, MER, auto-rebalancing, consistent 8 to 10% long-run average. Your action step: log into CRA, My Account today, and check your exact TFSA room. If you haven't contributed $7,000 for 2026, every dollar you put in before December 31st grows tax-free from this moment forward. That window doesn't come back. And here's what's critical to understand first. The people who retire comfortably are not necessarily earning more. Across every major study on retirement savings, from BMO to HOOPP to the NIA, the relationship between income and retirement readiness is surprisingly weak. It's not the salary, it's the system. The single most powerful behavioral tool in retirement savings is automation. Not motivation, not discipline. Automation. Set up an automatic transfer to your TFSA and RRSP on the day your paycheck arrives, not the day after, not when you've covered the bills, before anything else. At $700 a month automated at 25, you build $2.27 million by 65 at 8%. At $700 a month manually decided month by month, research consistently shows contribution rates fall dramatically during life stress. Job changes, economic uncertainty, big purchases. The automation removes the decision from the equation. Pay yourself first. Automate it. Never revisit that decision. The most common TFSA mistake in Canada: holding cash or GICs inside a TFSA rather than equities. A $7,000 annual TFSA contribution held in a savings account earning 3% over 40 years grows to approximately $544,000. The same $7,000 per year invested in an S&P 500 ETF, averaging 8%, grows to approximately $2,027,000. Inside the same account, tax-free. On the same $280,000 in total contributions, that's a $1,483,000 difference from the same registered account, the same contribution, the same tax shelter, simply from the choice of what you hold inside it. The S&P 500 has averaged approximately 10% annually since inception. Over any 20 to 30-year horizon on record, it has been positive. Low-cost S&P 500 ETFs available on any Canadian discount brokerage platform charge MERs of 0.09% to 0.20%, a fraction of the average bank mutual fund MER of 2.0% to 2.5%, which can cost over $858,000 more on a $200,000 portfolio over 30 years. The third part is the multiplier. Every year, when your salary increases, even by 3%, increase your automated TFSA and RRSP contribution by at least 50% of that raise amount. If you earn $70,000 and get a 3.5% raise, $2,450 more per year, about $204 per month after tax, increase your monthly TFSA contribution by $100. Your lifestyle improved by $100. Your retirement savings improved by $100. Done consistently over 10 to 20 years, this annual step-up transforms what begins as a modest $700 a month at 25 into $1,200 or $1,500 a month by 40, without ever feeling like a sacrifice in the moment. Each increase is small. The cumulative effect is enormous. Your action step: set 3 things up this week. First, an automatic TFSA transfer on payday. Second, a low-cost S&P 500 ETF purchase inside that TFSA. Third, a calendar reminder on your next paycheck anniversary to increase the transfer by a small amount. 3 decisions. 1 afternoon. The system runs for 40 years. Let's come back to where we started. CPP average: $925.35 per month. OAS maximum: $742.31 per month. Combined, $1,667.66 a month. $20,011 a year. The gap between that and what you need to retire comfortably is real. The ATB financial analysis makes it clear government income covers roughly $18,553 per year, while most Canadians need $42,000 to $56,000 annually in retirement income. That's a shortfall of $23,000 to $37,500 per year. Every year, for potentially 25 years. That gap, $23,000 to $37,500 annually, is exactly what the 3-part system closes. A Canadian who starts at 25 automates $700 per month into a low-cost S&P 500 ETF inside their TFSA, steps up that contribution by 50% of every raise, and lets it compound at 8% for 40 years, arrives at 65 with $2.27 million, tax-free. At a conservative 4% annual withdrawal rate on $2.27 million, that generates $90,800 per year. Add CPP and OAS, another $20,011. Total retirement income, $110,811 per year. From $700 a month starting at 25. The 59% who fear they'll never retire aren't wrong about the problem. The government income floor is too low. The defined benefit pension is largely gone. The cost of living keeps rising. But the math of compound interest inside a tax-free account investing in the world's most resilient index, that math hasn't changed. It just requires starting. The 90% who won't retire comfortably aren't unlucky. They're underinformed. The system exists. The accounts are open. The ETFs cost almost nothing. The only thing missing is the decision to start, and the automation that makes sure you never have to make it again.